Well, hello everyone. Thank you for visiting my page, Micro Parts Canada. And today is December 31st, 2023. It's the last day of the year. I just want to go quickly over a brief tutorial regarding product that I've been looking at in the market called it's the Rislone Gasket Sealer. And the reason why I wanted to work on this product and show a little tutorial on it. I haven't used it before. I've used actually another similar product by Rislone for the coolant leak. Been noticing the last 3 months that my Nissan Micra is losing coolant gradually. Initially, this was about 4 months ago. I was driving and my coolant light showed up. Problem with the Nissan Micra, as you notice, there is no temperature gauge. There's no temperature dial that you can look at and see what if the temperature is rising or not. It just starts flashing or lighting up, illuminating the coolant light. So that happened over the about four months ago, and I kept driving because I was sort of in the middle of I was probably about 15 minutes away from my home, and I didn't really take too much. I didn't take it too serious until I got home, and I noticed I put my hand on the engine and it was extremely hot, and there was some melting plastic sound. So I'm assuming the head gasket, was damaged. Um, Prior to that, I didn't have any issues with the coolant flowing into the system. So there was coolant flowing. I didn't have any problems with that. I did recently change a water pump about 6 months ago. That's the first time I've ever changed a water pump on the Nissan Micra. And after that event, I noticed that my car is overheating. So I noticed that there is fumes coming out from the coolant when I open the coolant reservoir, and white fumes. I smell it. It doesn't really smell like combustion. It's more like exhaust fumes. And as of recently, there is now some fumes coming out from the engine when I turn it on. After about a minute and idling, those fumes go away, and I guess it may be that it's finding the exhaust fumes are finding their way out through the exhaust pipe and into the muffler, but there is still um, exhaust fumes going through the coolant system. So I did get another product called Rislone Copper for coolant leaks. I used that. It was good for about a week and a half, and then I'm back now at the same issue, where now I use the IR temperature gauge, and I can clearly see that the temperature from the coolant hoses is low, like it's within limits, but I can feel that the pressure is also low. So there is not much coolant passing through the system. And as I open it, as I open the coolant, you don't want to open it when it's hot, but what I do is I open up the coolant reservoir tank, not the coolant filler port, and I did notice there is gases coming out, like exhaust fumes. So um, it's something very particular. You may want to consult with your personal mechanic. Um, I've been having some issues with this car for the past year, whether it be like the water pump, as I mentioned before. A lot of things. I was taken to a few mechanics. They weren't sure how to resolve the issue. I had to change the water pump. I had to change the water pump. I had to change the um, fuel pump as well. So the fuel pump was weak and it wasn't pumping enough gasoline into the combustion chambers. Changed the spark plug. So I did a whole sort of overall the last year on this car, but it still is not running. As I mentioned to you, there was an overheating episode about 4 months ago, and since then I've been seeing fumes now coming from the engine block. I'm not sure if it's a cracked engine block, but in any case, I purchased another product. I'm going to try it out this time. I've seen some decent reviews online about it, the Rislone um, gasket sealer. So I'm going to show it to you now. Alright guys, so as you see here, I have the Rislone Head Gasket Fix. This is the product I'm going to use currently. Now for 4 to 6 cylinder engine, it's calling for half the bottle. Um, the Definitely you want to make sure that your engine has been cooled down, the coolant is cool, and that's what the instructions indicate. So just before you want to use this product, you want to definitely make sure that your engine is cool. I've left my car overnight, so the engine is cool. The coolant as well, whatever's in the system is cool. And I'm gonna go ahead now and just put in half a bottle of this block seal permanent head gasket fix. Let's see how much, I'm going to see if this product is worthwhile, how long I can, use my vehicle after, applying this product, and whether or not it is a permanent fix, or do I really need to, at some point, I guess, open up my engine and change the head gasket and seals, and work on that. So right now I'm going to be applying the product. So right now I got the hood open, and this car has been definitely cool. Right now we're at about 0 degrees here in Innisfil, Ontario. So the engine is definitely cool. I have the coolant filler port, so I'm going to open that up. I'm going to give this a quick shake, shake it up, make sure it's all mixed up, and I'm going to pour in half a bottle into my coolant system. Now, it's not very clear here, but my coolant level is just below the max line. Okay, so you want to make sure that, if you can, try to keep your coolant levels in between the min and max line. Mine is a bit more because, as you know, I've been going through some overheating, so I had to add coolant and into the system. I'm gonna let this run, and I'm gonna first add the block seal head gasket fix, half a bottle, and then I'm gonna run the system, run the engine for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then turn it off, and then see later on. I'm gonna run the car and see what's going on exactly. But just before I add the head gasket fix, I'm gonna turn on the engine, and I'm going to show you sort of what kind of fumes are coming out. They're exhaust fumes coming from the engine block, but I wanted to show you that just before I added the gasket fix solution. So I'm going to get the engine on. Now I'm going to go to the engine block. As you see, there are some fumes coming out from, these are exhaust fumes. I can smell the burnt, this is not gasoline, this is exhaust fumes coming from the engine block. Now, as I mentioned, it takes about a minute or so, and that these fumes, they find their way out through the muffler, and then they exit through the port, so it stops smoking from under the hood. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to quickly open the port, or we can just try opening the reservoir, and let's see if we can see. Right now I don't see anything coming through the reservoir, but I know that if you see the flow in the port, okay, just release some pressure there. We're going to see that there is fumes coming out. So I see a flow of coolant running through the system. As you see, there's some residue of the copper, Rislone copper coolant leak kit that I used before. It's a little bit cheaper than the one that I got now, but as you know, it doesn't seem. It seems like there is too much fumes in there. So I'm gonna put in now half of the Rislone head gasket permanent fix at the moment. Alright guys, so I'm just about to pour in half a bottle of the head gasket fix by Rislone. You can see the color. What I've seen online was more like an aluminum color, like grayish, but this seems like it's like copper. I'm gonna go ahead right now. Like there's a little bit of the type. There's a tight gap here. So if I try just pouring straight from the bottle into the filler port, I think some of it's gonna just pour over. So I've got a funnel, and this is, I've been using it for coolant, adding coolant into the system. So I'm gonna start by slowly adding in half a bottle. Okay, so you see there's fumes coming out here as I pour. So I'm gonna try to get as much as I can, half a bottle in there. Let's see how much that feeds. Now the idea here is that as you turn on your vehicle, now this vehicle I've removed the thermostat. Now the idea here is that as you turn on the vehicle, the coolant is going to flush away this material, which is, I'm assuming, more or less copper micro pieces with plastic fibers, reinforced plastic fibers. And as that then hits the gasket and passes through the passages, it's going to seal the damaged anywhere there is leaking of fumes, coolant. It's going to seal it, and hopefully permanently. I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical. I've seen mixed reviews on this product. So some of the reviews are amazing, that people have been using this for using their car after for 2 months, and it's working fine, with no overheating, no leaking of the coolant. Now in my case, I've already used the other product, which was it's a little bit cheaper. It's copper for coolant leaks, specifically, not for head gasket sealing. We'll try it out. It worked for about, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. It was working fine. I didn't have any loss of coolant. But now I'm going to try this product because, again, my coolant, the fumes are coming out through the coolant. I can see the bubbling. I can see the white smoke. So I got to do something for now. Maybe as a temporary measure, when the weather gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to I'll be purchasing the head gasket, complete head gasket setup, I guess, and try to attempt to fix the head gasket, replace it as well with the seals, any sort of valves that may need to be attended to with the seals or cleaned out. My worry is that if the cylinder head is the blockhead cylinder is cracked or is warped, then either I'd have to find a way to repair that or get another cylinder head and do a replacement. But that's a much bigger project than what I anticipate. Hopefully it's just this will work and maybe solve my problem for about a few months until the summer comes, where I can spend more time on this in the warmer weather and open up the engine and work on it. Okay, so as you can see here, some of this material hasn't drained into the coolant reservoir or through the radiator yet. I'm gonna have to turn on the car just to get some coolant flushing through, and we'll see what happens after that. So I got the engine on just to get the flow of the coolant with the water pump pressure. I'm going to start adding more of this product, the Rislone head gasket seal. Let's see how much. I'm still not at half a bottle. I'm about a quarter of a bottle, but I can see some of this is now going through. There's fumes, there's bubbling. So I'm going to just press just a gentle press here on the hose, the filler port hose, and as you can see, as I do that, as I press gently, more of the head gasket fix solution is going through the system. So I'm going to continue. Continue on that. Yeah, more and more going through. I'm almost at half a bottle, so I think just a bit more should be enough there. A little bit more. Yeah, I'm at half a bottle now. Add a bit more, and there, that's good enough. I think that will be sufficient. So now I'm going to let this flow through. I do still have some Asian blue coolant for Asian vehicles, specifically for Nissan, and I'm going to add a little bit just to top up there. Alright, so I have here the Prestone Max antifreeze coolant. This is already pre-mixed 50/50. It's specifically for Nissan 2009 and newer. So this is a 2015 Micra, Nissan Micra. I found it was really good when I first added it. Like I didn't have any, my fan didn't turn on, everything was staying cool. But again, the leak, I guess the smoke, the fumes kept seeping in. And as you know, with the fumes, if they get trapped in with the coolant, you're losing coolant as well, you're overheating your engine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bit more coolant, slowly, very slowly, until I get filled up here. There we go. Just a little bit more. Just a bit more. That should be sufficient enough. And as you can see, there's still some air coming out from here. You want to make sure you got enough there. Alright. Now again with the hose I'm going to gently suck that in. So until I don't see any air. You want to make sure all the air is removed from your coolant system, or else you're going to have lack of flow. There's going to even have maybe complete seizing of the flow of the coolant. Alright, so I'm going to stop that. Alright, so there we go. I've added in half a bottle of the Rislone head gasket fix into the coolant filler port. I topped it up with some coolant, my Prestone, specifically blue Asian, for Asian vehicles. I found that's a really good, Prestone Max coolant product. There's of course other products more expensive, but I found that was reasonably priced. And now I'm going to run my engine for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to give you guys an update later on throughout the day. I'm going to drive the vehicle and see, is the car fan turning on frequently, or do I notice that the car is overheating? Is the coolant light showing up? In any case, also wanted to show you that my vehicle has seen definitely better days. This car has about 420,000 kilometers on it. So, see, my check engine light on there. So you see here, it's at 424,276 kilometers, way over the lifespan of this vehicle. I'm currently at about 7.5 use, like in terms of my gas mileage, 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Not bad. I was able to bring that down when it was running like good, when there was no overheating issues. The car was using about 6.9. And that's within city limits, so it's still very good on gas. Again, we're back at about 425, almost 425,000 kilometers, shy a bit of that. All right, guys. So I'm gonna let that run for 10 minutes, as I mentioned. Thank you again for visiting my page, our page on Micra Auto Parts Canada. The goal eventually is to add more, specific products, Micra specific products that you can purchase online through our Facebook shopping site, or through our Square page, and provide you with insights and videos on how to maintain your Micra. As you notice, the car's seen definitely better days. Almost 425,000 kilometers, way above its lifespan. But I'm trying to keep this going, and as much as possible, because I want to make sure that I can learn more about how to maintain the car, how to keep it in good shape, and decent shape, that I can use on a daily basis for my work, for my school, and for taking the kids out and keeping it in good shape. And at the same time, you can see that you can maintain your vehicle for a much longer lifespan than what's expected usually for cylinders, which is about 200,000 kilometers or so, 250,000 kilometers. And you're still saving money on the long run. If you know how to do the do-it-yourself maintenance, you can definitely save thousands of dollars on the long run than going and purchasing a brand new car. If you have the time, you have the effort, you have the parts, and you're willing to spend the money and learn as well, the time to learn how to maintain and keep your car investment in a decent shape. So again, thank you very much, guys. Happy New Year to you, and wishing you all the best in 2024. Thank you.